All right, welcome. This is actually a special edition of the show. We are happy to have back with us for the first time since June, Nick Hedrick from Stranded Sports. Welcome back, Nick.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So we're going to talk a little bit today about you've got a charity live stream coming up next week. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But since you've been on the show with us in June, what have you been up to? How's your show going?
It's been going well. We kept up our demand of having guests on because people don't care about us without guests. That's a little harsh, I should say, but I mean, it's been good. It's been good. We actually had like a current MLS player on the other day.
We do that. It was our pick of the week.
Yeah, I know. That's right. I forget. I have so much information flowing in my head. I was like, that was that episode. Wow. But no, that was awesome.
I actually forgot about that until you just mentioned it a second ago.
Yeah, that's how the world feels right now. It's like, oh yeah. But no, so that's been really cool. We're finally getting articles up consistently on our blog and stuff, and yeah, it's going really well. I'm really happy with where we're at, and the pandemic can't stop us. Nothing will. So we're gonna keep fighting.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned like, oh, nobody cares about you unless you have guests, and we've kind of come to the same conclusion. And it's funny, like with a few weeks ago we had John Anderson from ESPN Sports Center and ABC's Wipeout, and all of a sudden you see his name pop up there, and you see the analytics go whoop.
I listened to that one. I contributed.
You're
welcome.
Appreciate it. So. Again, we're going to jump into your charity live stream, but let's kind of circle back real quick and talk about Stranded Sports. How did you start it? How did the idea come up? And
oh boy, what a fun story. Basically, I just went to college and was like, I want my friends to know what my thoughts are on current happenings in the sports world because I never shut up when we're at home. And so I just applied to have a radio show on campus, and they said sure because they don't tell anyone no. I didn't know that at the time, so I thought it was really cool that they told me yes. And then basically I said, well, maybe we could do something with this, and it's just slowly grown since then. It's undergone about 7 different rebrands before we finally settled on Stranded Sports. And again, the wonderful idea behind that name was that before I had co-hosts, I was the only host. And so it was like you were stranded with me, which no one would ever want to be with. Shout out to my girlfriend for doing it for a year and a half, because God bless her soul and anyone else I've been friends with for a long time. And so that was just kind of me doing my self-deprecating humor in my brand name. And it just kind of stuck. There's a lot of great puns you can make of it, like our baseball show called Stranded at Second. And I mean, so there's a lot of puns you can make. And it's just, I really like the branding. I like the name. I think it's unique. And then I get to tell you the story of how a meme turned into me trying to make money off of something, which is the American dream, I should say. So it's been going well. And yeah, humble beginnings. And we're finally starting to see some positive growth after being really stagnant and frustrating and doing the is this even worth it kind of talk to ourselves. It's finally starting to grow. And so that's definitely good to see, and hopefully it keeps getting bigger.
Awesome.
So can you tell us a little bit about your charity live stream now?
I was really ready for DJ to say that one, and then it looked like you snuck it in there, and that's just quality. It's quality content.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm a cancer survivor. It'll be 7 years in November, I think. It's weird. After it's like closer to 10 years than it was 5 years ago. It still feels like it happened yesterday. I'm getting old, says the 21-year-old. But I mean, it's last year we did it. It was kind of, excuse my French, half-assed. We didn't know if it was going to happen. That we had tried 2 years ago, but other people kept trying to get involved, and we were like, this isn't even what we want to do anymore. Like it's one of those ideas where like someone else hears it and thinks they're going to just immediately rub their influence all over it. And then we were like, no, let's just not even do it. So last year it finally happened. I think we raised somewhere in the high $600 or $700. I always forget. And then I see the number and go, damn it, I knew that. But we didn't have any guests on. We started an hour late because people that were supposed to help us didn't show up in time. So it was a disaster, and we still beat our goal. So this year, when we actually know what we're doing, we feel very confident.
I also recall last year you ended up having to move your to a different site because wasn't it like the streaming wasn't working?
Well, YouTube banned us from streaming. It was going to be on YouTube, but they banned us from streaming because we had so many like under 5 minute streams from us testing stuff throughout the day that they thought we were just spamming everything. So then we had to move it to Twitch. But then what happened was that we use OBS to stream, and we needed the administrator password to use the computer in the school's radio room. And they told us, the person in charge of that said, I don't know what OBS is, so I don't want you guys downloading it onto the computer. We then showed him like, this is the industry standard to like live stream, which then turned into, well, why don't you just live stream it on the school's radio, internet radio link? And I said, no one's going to find it that way. No offense. And I didn't say it in a rude way. I was like, I think it could get much more people to tune in if we just did it on like Twitch or YouTube. So that didn't happen. So we then had to plug in the soundboard, which is probably yay big, into my laptop, and it sounded awful, but we got it done. We got it done, and that's all that mattered. And now this year, again, we know what we're doing this year, and that's what makes me excited. Now it's waiting for things to go wrong. And again, being on a college campus when COVID cases are getting a lot higher than they have been, there's always that worry that one day I'm going to get a text from someone that says, hey, I have COVID, or hey, someone I'm in close contact with has COVID and I ate lunch with you yesterday. So now I'm deciding, do I want to enjoy my last 3 weeks before we go home for Thanksgiving break and don't come back till the spring semester? Or do I want to be a hermit so we can do this? But you know what? It doesn't matter. We're going to get it done either way. It's just a matter of how professional it sounds. But yeah, I'm very excited. And again, to make a long story short, as I'm still trying to break records for how long this show is. I saw someone broke my record. Don't worry.
You were the first to really blow past the 10 minutes. And then you actually, even though you don't have the record anymore, you've become the trendsetter. All the shows after yours have been way longer than 10 minutes. I think we had one the other week that was like 12. But ever since then, I mean, we had a 30-minute show. Yeah, I mean, you set a new standard for us, and it's now become kind of a branding running joke for us. So
I don't think I've ever set a standard before, so that is great to hear. I'm making an impact here.
You know what? I think I'm gonna make a leaderboard.
Wow. Wow.
I'm committed at this point.
There you go, Kate. Go ahead. You're in charge of the leaderboard.
Okay. So what's your goal for this year? For
Who's the charity for? I don't think we mentioned that.
That would you would think come up. So the Pittsburgh Children's Hospital, that's where I was treated. So they're all very great people. They're obviously, as you might expect at a doctor's office. But they're all wonderful people. They give back in so many ways, and I really want to help them out, even if it's just a little in these times. So last year our goal was $500, and as I said, we beat it by $100, $200. This year we're going to do $1,000 because we're partnering with another podcast I'm on. So essentially, I'm partnering with myself, high-fiving myself. But I'm not in charge of this one, so it's different. It's called Where's the News? It's a podcast me and two of my buddies from our student media website at Robert Morris University run. We've had some really cool local guests on that one. So it doesn't necessarily fall under the sports scene, or I definitely would have said, let's get on stadium scene. Don't worry. I'm not trying to insult you. But I mean, so that's really cool. And I think it's going to bring some new listeners in because we know for a fact we have some dedicated listeners that are friends of ours and family of friends of ours, and maybe even some actual fans. The one listener we know is in the military. That's my buddy's friend. So maybe the whole, I don't know what military term to use, platoon, is listening. I don't know. But so that'll be cool. So we doubled the goal because of that. And I'm really confident. We actually have a promo video going out later today. And if you happen to stumble upon it, you're going to go, God, Nick Hederick is such a weirdo. Because it's just me. I walked around my kitchen and found items, and I just made puns in reference to all of those items and like held them up. And the first one is I found a bottle of Dawn, and I said, on the dawn of the election, some things might not seem as important as us choosing a new leader or whatever. And then I throw it to the side, and then I grab my box of cereal, and it just goes from there. And they're all like that for like a minute and a half. So you'll see that later today. And I hope no one takes that as like I'm making a joke out of it, because I'm not. That's just my humor, and I think that's a funny way to get people engaged. So I'm very excited. I keep saying that. I guess you can say I'm very excited. But I think it's going to – I am excited. I think I think it's going to be really cool, and I think we can definitely hit it. I know times have been tough this year, but I'm still very confident and eager to see what we can do.
So
So,
who? Go for it.
DJ, putting names or like transitions in these scripts because I jump. You know that.
Yeah.
So where can someone find your live stream? Since we're talking about it.
Barring any bans, it'll be on our YouTube channel this year, which is youtube.com/stranded sports. If not, it'll be twitch.tv/stranded sports. But we'd really like to be on YouTube because that's where our fan base usually follows us. This won't be up today, but today we're doing a live reaction to the Steelers-Ravens game. So we're trying to build up that audience a bit on the YouTube and Twitch channels. But so that'll be fun. Again, I'm really hoping that we can pull it off on YouTube this time, as opposed to last time when they said you can't do that many test streams and then think you're going to walk on in here and actually do the real one.
Damn you, Google. So real quick before we start wrapping up, you have any special plans for the show this year? You obviously said you're going to partner with another show you're on, but you have any guests lined up? Any special surprises you want to hype?
We do have guests. However, we're pre-recording those interviews and none of those have happened yet. So I'm not going to say they will be on the show and then we don't find the time before that show. The plan is to have guests. If not, there's guests that I know that have graduated with me that have started some projects and stuff. I want to record an interview with you two or one of you to talk about stadium scene. So obviously we can find a time to do that. That would be awesome.
We will make time.
We will. We always make time for me. That's how the world works. Just kidding. Other than that, we're going to do some giveaways. My girlfriend's a graphic design major, so she's been making our merch look much better than it has any purpose being. And so we're going to give away some shirts and stuff for that, including the famed Seltzer Surprise shirt, which might not mean as much to you because, you're adults. But, college kids love drinking seltzers. And we played a pickup football game one day, and my co-host Jack just called a play called Seltzer Surprise. And that kind of became a cult following thing within our fan base. So we have a T-shirt with that now that's very 90s themed. We haven't it's on our shop, but no one's seen it yet. Come on, no one checks our shop without being directed there, to be honest. So we're going to give away that shirt. We have a couple other shirts in the works as well. We've never really given away stuff before. So that's hopefully going to reel some people in. And anyone that donates is going to be entered in, and we're just going to randomize who wins the merch. We're probably going to give I don't know if I want to make it tiered because that kind of gives me the wrong thing. Like I know people that do Patreon, patrons donate like $5, they're allowed to win this, and $10, they get this access. I don't know if that's acceptable for like a donation to a charity thing, but I'd like it to be like, if you donate $5, you're entered to win stickers. If you donate $10, you're entered to win this, and $20, you're entered to win that. Something like that. Not sure yet though, because I don't know if I like the vibe that gives off. But maybe we'll take a poll. But yeah, so a lot of fun.
Or you can do it as for every $5 you donate, that's one entry into the raffle.
Whoa! Ooh,
yeah, there you go.
That's why you're the host and I'm the guest. Wow.
See, even though it's a little after 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning here, my brain is still functioning. No comments.
Mine's starting to open up as we go on. We should have started 10 minutes later and we would have been golden.
So date, time, you mentioned it's on YouTube. When are we checking this live stream out?
Well, when I sat down and made it, I said, I want DJ and Kate to be – I don't know where Kate's from, so this might not make sense. But I want DJ to be able to hear it in prime time at no worries. So we're starting it at 9 p.m. Eastern. That way, you're not up too late. The East Coast people will have to suffer. 9 p.m. to midnight. I don't have class on Wednesday. All my co-hosts do, but to be completely honest, it's my show. No, just kidding.
Tough.
I'm kidding. They all have better personalities than I do most days. But so 9 p.m. to midnight, I like that slot. And every college kid's up till like 2 a.m. So everyone doesn't have an excuse to not listen. So very excited about that time slot. Hopefully we start on time this year. But yeah, we're hoping for 3 hours. My goal was to originally make it an hour for every year I've gone. That would have sounded horrible. Every year I've beaten cancer, we do an hour, but I think 7 hours in this social climate. And we're doing Never mind. That's this week. COVID has my. Never mind. You can edit that out. I was gonna say we're doing.
We do not edit on this show.
my school's student media is doing a 4-hour live stream for election night that I'm gonna be on, and I was just about to say we're doing it the night after election night, but that would put us at November 4th, not 10th.
It might not be over by then, so it might.
No,
be
they'll probably still be counting the mail-in votes, so maybe that's not a complete lie. But yeah, so that's where my head was at this early hour.
So, Kate, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah. Can you remind us what show you're on and where to find you online?
Oh, the Stranded Sports podcast. Strandedsports.com is our blog. We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, which I think is like ending soon or something. They're doing something with Google Podcasts. I don't know.
They're moving.
They're moving. I'm like one of those jerks that has Apple everything and realized halfway through college I didn't need to spend this much money on a laptop. So sorry to my friends and family that I don't like take them to dinner more often. But I had to spend triple what they spent on a laptop. So I don't know much about Google's podcast systems. But yeah, we're available on all the big ones. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Our home app is the Anchor app because that's like free and it distributes your show everywhere. You're welcome, Anchor. You can pay me. I'll send you my account information later. But yeah, so anywhere you find podcasts, we're there. And then again, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/stranded sports, and Twitch is twitch.tv/stranded sports. I'm getting better at the self-promotion thing, I promise.
So DJ, where can you find Stadium Scene? And can you say it correctly this time?
Can I say it correctly this week? Well, you can find us on no, I'm just kidding. Check us out.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
When we had DJ on my show last year, none of us said his last name correctly the whole show, and he never felt the need to tell us that we were idiots.
Well, we all do it to him on purpose. So
that's exactly right. Well, it's not everybody does it on purpose, but it gets botched so much. I don't even think twice anymore, or I haven't thought twice about it for years. So
okay, but DJ Fluck is a lot of fun to say because it almost sounds like you're saying another word.
Also, something that I've heard many times over the years that doesn't even, like, you can see I'm not even stunned by that comment. So
I know.
I tell people, it's like, yeah, you know what? And they come up and they're like, hey, do you know what your last name is? Like, no, why don't you tell me?
That's like the ginger jokes growing up.
No,
People would make one and think it was a real zinger. And I'd be like, you're the 700th person to tell me that one, buddy. Like,
hey, that's a good joke. I first heard that one in 3rd grade. Yeah. Look, I'm 35 years old. I've heard most all of them. I think there was one that I don't even remember what it was that actually mildly caught me off guard because it was actually creative enough that I had not heard it before.
Wow.
I'm like, what? Bravo. I don't know what it was. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't very good, but I admit it was one I had not heard.
So is this like your 10th anniversary of your 35th birthday? Because I
No.
totally thought you were 45.
Would you stop making me older? Like,
the donation link, by the way, can be found at any of our social media channels or in the description of any YouTube videos. That's very important when doing a charity event. Thank you.
Thank you for getting us back on track.
And thank you for stopping this because we'll keep going.
Yeah.
My bed is right there, and it's still only like 9 a.m., so I plan on returning to it the minute we stop recording this.
So DJ, you want to say where you can find Stadium Scene now? Or in your old age, do you not remember?
I need to pull up my notes now. Check us out at stadiumscene.tv. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest at Stadium Scene, at Stadium_Scene on Instagram. And again, you can follow our TikTok account, but there's nothing on there, and there never will be. Even though I put one on my personal account last week. So, hey, I'm one of the cool kids now. As Nick is writing all that down. So, Nick, thanks again for being on the show. Check out the Stranded Sports live stream, and we will see you next time.